Hi, my name is Alisha and I went to the University of Memphis.
So, Alicia, take us back to your junior career. What type of tournaments did you compete in? Was it more national or international competitions? Where did you train and who coached you?
So when I was a junior, I actually was injured for quite a lot of my career. So I really sort of started playing far more like national tournaments when I was about 16, 17 and 18. And at that point, I was based in what was called JTC at the time in Northwood, which is now known as Jet. Um, but yeah, I only sort of played national level when I was a junior.
And do you think, even with that injury, you always had those aspirations of playing professional tennis, regardless of being injured for a long time?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Just because also I was so young and it was a lot about growing and that kind of thing. So I knew that playing professionally was still an option, obviously, because I was still so young.
Right. And at what point do you think made the decision? When did you make the decision, sorry, that the US college route was for you?
I made that decision when I was around, I think also again 16, 17 years old. I kind of thought I hadn't had a lot of experience playing so many matches. And not only was it a great option for playing tons of tennis, but also getting a degree at the same time. It was just a really good, uh, you know, route to go down.
Right. And how did you kind of come into contact with Pippa and Stars and Stripes as an agency? You know, when you decided, okay, I'm going to go to American University, what did you know about it? Did you know anything about it? Or was it just kind of, okay, Pippa, I want to go to American University. Where do I start?
I knew a couple of people who had gone to American uni as they were, also training at Northwood with me, but I didn't know a huge amount about it. And I had met Pippa at quite a few different like junior tournaments I was playing at. I'd see her there and chat to her about it and kind of just ask her questions about what it was really about and that kind of thing. So yeah, I met Pippa a lot just sort of in person to begin with at the different tournaments I was at. So.
Yeah. And do you feel like she helped you massively in, I know for me, making a video, I had no idea where to start. I didn't know anything about, the conferences or rankings of schools, whether someone more academic or more sports orientated. How did she kind of help you through that process?
Yeah, I mean, massively, because again, I just like you, I had zero idea kind of
Yeah.
what to do with the whole process, and she put me in touch with a great person to do the video, and that turned out great. And then posting that on YouTube, then coaches come in contact with you sort of immediately from that. But even kind of, she knew me as a person, so she knew I was actually, I was kind of a quite shy kid. And so to begin with, we were actually looking at like smaller universities, which I think was, nice to look at. And then actually I kind of realized it was my decision to be like, actually, I want to go to a bigger university and be part of like a real kind of what seems like America, everything's bigger out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. So kind of halfway through, you changed your what you wanted your ideal school to be, because obviously
Yeah.
ending up at Memphis, it's a massive
Mhm.
massive campus and student body. So which schools did you kind of shortlist, like maybe top five or top three? What were you really looking for? Obviously now you've mentioned size, but also what did you want out of like the coaches and like kind of the culture or mentality?
So I went on 5 official visits, to the
Oh wow, that's a lot.
universities. Yeah. But I kind of ruled out a couple quite quickly, just from, yeah, it was sort of campus size. I thought, no, this seems a bit too small. Another, it was like a quite far off from campus, like where the courts were. Um, so I ruled it down really to actually, it was the University of Memphis and SMU were the two that I had narrowed it down to sort of fairly quickly from just even visiting. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so with SMU and Memphis, then what became the deciding factor on choosing Memphis?
Funny enough, SMU was always my front runner. I was really interested in going there just from the Skype calls I'd have with the coach, the facilities, the like kind of, yes, the amount of money that the university had, but that meant the facilities obviously for the club was just, I mean, incredible.
Yeah,
Just a lot of what they can offer. But actually, when I had my first Skype call, it was with Ryan Haymond, who was the assistant coach at the time. I was like, yeah, no, I think Memphis could be the one. I sort of had a feeling from my first Zoom call, and then yeah, when I went on the visits, it's a funny feeling actually because you're there for 48 hours,
yeah,
and it just clicked with Memphis, and I was super upset actually to leave when my visit was over. I didn't want to go,
yeah,
and I was lucky enough my parents were with me, so and they had the same feeling. And I went from Memphis to SMU, and it just, even though they had, yes, far more money and things, it was far more affluent in Dallas than
yeah.
Memphis. I was just like, no, this doesn't feel right. It wasn't right with the team. It wasn't right with the coaches. Yeah, it was Memphis from almost my first Skype call, to be honest. I just knew.
That's amazing because that's actually really similar to me. Because I visited ODU first, and within like the first 2 hours of visiting, I was like, yeah, that's it, I'm done, I've
Yeah,
made my decision.
yeah,
Like I
exactly.
basically had signed the paper. Well, I didn't, but I, in my head, I'd signed the paper already before going to, I think, yeah, I visited Penn State afterwards and stuff, but I'd already made my decision. So it's funny how you say that click. And I think, I mean, I'm sure you'll have advice at the end of like this call for people that are using Stars and Stripes and Pippa's agency. But I think this, if you can visit the school and you can go and visit in person, I think it makes a massive difference. I don't know your thoughts on that as well, because
No,
you hear a
definitely.
lot of stories of, you know, coaches that maybe overselling something online, or, you know, I think it's so much better to actually go and visit the school if possible.
Yeah, I would say exactly the same thing. It definitely, like, going on a visit really kind of solidifies things because everyone can come across great in a Skype call, to be honest, but it's about how
Yeah,
you feel within the team. And I mean, I felt terrible for the students over COVID that couldn't go on their visit and made a
yeah,
decision. I had a freshman when it was my fifth and final year. We had a freshman join us, and that was purely kind of luck, to be honest, that she came here and she loved
yeah,
it. And I mean, everybody who's come to Memphis has always had a great time. We've never had any problems with anybody there. So it's
yeah.
yeah, everybody who goes there is like, yeah, it's been great. So very
Yeah.
lucky.
I think, yeah, also speaking to previous players and players on the team when you go visit as well, I think it comes across a lot more authentic than when you maybe text someone on the team, you know, when you're looking. So yeah, definitely going to the school is a really good idea. Okay, so once you're at Memphis, how did you feel in terms of the transition of being at an American college, and did Pippa kind of keep in touch with you with, you know, how you're settling in as a freshman? You know, I know it's very chaotic, you're kind of running around everywhere trying to get the gauge of things, how it's going. What did she help with that process?
She was great, to be honest. I mean, as a freshman anyway, it's really quite hard to settle in. I mean, it's really different to, say, England, but anything that you'll ever experience, in my opinion, but in such a great way. And Pippa was great. She was constantly messaging me and checking on how I was doing and asking how, certain classes were going, and just helping me if I needed anyone on the outside that wasn't there at the university that knew. She was, yeah, really, really great. I could rely on her if I ever sort of needed help with something, if I wasn't sure what something was. Yeah, she
Yeah,
helped me with all of that. So yeah, definitely really good.
yeah. And did you feel like you, because this is what I also felt like at my school, I feel like the support system that you have within the school as well, in terms of help with scheduling, or if you need help finding a tutor or admissions or visa or that kind of thing, as an international student, it can be really overwhelming. But I feel like there are so many people that want to help and whose job it is, honestly, to help you. Did you feel like that as well once you'd arrived?
Yeah, massively. I mean, to be honest, like, being a student athlete is a big deal no matter what university you're at. You're always going to have teachers out, like professors out there, and people in the faculty that are always going to help you and look out for you if you ever needed it, and things. Because I was super lost when I first got there. I had no idea what to do, and I had a great I can't remember the name of them now, academic advisor. It was just really, really helpful. Kind of, I would speak to them about what I would be interested in school and studying, and they would, make the best of it, and put you in the classes that they think that you'll thrive in, with the professors that they would recommend. It was pretty easy in a way. Like, even though you think it was super complicated, they made it a far smoother process.
Yeah, for sure. And your time at Memphis, you were there as well for 5 years, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Similar to me. How would you say, being a student athlete has kind of helped you now with this transition of going into being a professional tennis player? We'll talk about that really soon, but more about Memphis. How do you feel like, did you feel like it was kind of a second family, or is that really cliche?
No, to be honest, it really was.
Yeah.
It was that funny thing of, actually, if I was at home, I would be really, really sad to leave home, but super excited to go back to Memphis. And when I was at Memphis, I would be super sad to leave Memphis, but excited to come home. And my mum used to always say, well, isn't that a great feeling to have? Because it really was just a truly magical experience. I loved all my 5 years there. I was, when you play your final match and that it's finished, it's such a hard feeling. To a hard pill to swallow, to be honest, to know it's finished. Because it was, it's definitely it's been a great experience, because also being so far away from home. I mean, I was 4,000 miles away, 6 hours behind anyone at home. It made me far more independent, made me far more confident. It's definitely given me really good life skills. To be honest, going over there, it's a big step, and for me, I'm proud of myself that I did it, because, to be honest, I'm the sort of person who I'm very happy in the comfort of my home and my family and in what I know. And something big and new like that was a big step for me, and I'm pleased that I was able to do that and actually really enjoy it as well. So I was, it went very well for me.
Growing up off the court as well as on the court, do you feel, in terms of helping you mature as a tennis player, but also as a person?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, actually. And that's something our coaches used to say to us, is they're not only helping us with our tennis, they are helping us in life, in just general life, and helping us to become better people with good values and things. So it was far more than just, tennis at the end of the day.
No, I agree with that for sure. I feel like that's why, when choosing the university, the coach is such a pivotal point of why you go there, because their values, you're going to see them 24/7. So I think that is huge, because you don't want the person you see every single day to be someone that you don't get on with, or you don't like their values, because at the end of the day, you are going to be spending pretty much 6, maybe 7 days a week with. So, and what would you say your favorite memory was at Memphis? I know that the last year for you is extra special.
Yeah, the winning our conference title was incredible. Just to when you're a freshman, you don't really understand what it means. I mean, you barely even know what conference means. And by the time, you're a fifth year, you're thinking, it's a big deal. And gosh, I mean, thinking about it, it's just, it was one of the most special moments, of course, of the 5 years there. To be the first ones as well, when we moved from Conference USA into the American Athletic, it was the first time Memphis had won it in the women's team. So it was just a super, super special moment and an amazing way to kind of finish the 5 years, you know, and to be able to achieve that with, you know, my 8 other teammates and my 2 coaches was just super, super magical. I speak about it all the time to people still, and telling people back home it doesn't have the same effect, but I still tell them about how we went and won conference.
No, I'm the same too. I'm like, I won Conference USA my last year. Like, Holly, we don't know what that is.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think that's why it's so special. I think by the time you get to your senior year, definitely, you're so ingrained into the whole system, which is, you know, you're not playing for yourself, you're playing for something bigger. And I think that's why it actually meant more to me, and probably, I don't want to speak for you, but you too, because as a freshman you're kind of just like, well, I don't even know the school's name. But by the time it's senior year, you know exactly, you know, the school, the conference, and why conference is such a massive deal. So it's really cool, honestly, and to get the ring is nice too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was really cool when it came in the post, and I was there actually with my teammate, and we both got them, and we were like, this is so cool. You know, it's a pretty big ring, pretty blingy, but I was like, I could actually still wear this if I wanted to.
So now you have graduated and you're playing professional tennis. What's kind of the next steps for you in terms of your base? You know, where are you training now? Is that different to a college environment? And yeah, how's that looking for you this year?
Yeah, it's been quite a change, to be honest, because obviously for the last 5 years I was really predominantly training in, you know, a big group of us with all my teammates and our 2 coaches, and I've come home and it's actually been a lot of individual based, so that's been quite a strange thing. And actually at the club I train at, it's just a lot quieter. You know, at university you're all there shouting each other on and cheering and playing to music, and now it's just me and my coach, so it's definitely a different experience. But you know, you move on and things do change. But at the moment I'm in the process of looking at joining different academies and kind of branching out a little bit and trying to train with like just fellow British players who are going through the same process as me, so I don't feel like I'm so alone. You know, you've got other people to speak to about it, other people to train, and people to kind of look up to and aspire to, because I like to be able to train with people who are better than me, because I'm thinking, oh, I like that in their game, they're really good at this, I want to be able to do that in mine. So obviously when I'm training alone, you can't really do that. So that's what I'm looking to do at the moment, is join certain academies and be able to train with other people.
Yeah, for sure. Like, branch out and really push yourself, especially as you've just started like your pro career. Do you have like any type of goals in the next year, or is it more just, you know, playing a full schedule and the ITF tour?
Yeah, to be honest, I haven't really gone into this with a particular goal. I've gone into it because I love playing tennis, and my parents are super supportive. And I'm doing the best I can and kind of seeing where that gets me. So you know, so far it's gone pretty well, and I like how things have been going. So yeah, no particular goal of mine. I do like the idea of traveling to different places a lot. I don't want to keep going back to the same place, because I think, you know, whilst I can, you know, it's cool to go to different countries and experience different things. And again, that's another way of becoming independent and finding out different cultures and different ways of life, which excites me. Cool. So
yeah, I mean, that's probably the coolest part of being a tennis player as well, is being able to travel and meet new people, try different food. It's more the glamorous side of being a tennis player.
Yeah, definitely.
So back to kind of the college system and Stars and Stripes and Pippa's kind of help, what would be your advice? Obviously, you've chosen to go professional, and not everyone going through Stars and Stripes will end up, choosing the professional route. But what would you say for anyone really going into the US college route? What would you say is like maybe 2 tips or just some advice for them just in that process?
Well, the easiest thing I would say is just 100% do it. I mean, I wouldn't ever regret going out to university in America. It's far more, they can offer far more than they can in the UK. From a sports perspective, it's really phenomenal, like what they can do for their athletes. So I encourage anybody I speak to. Recently I've been speaking to younger people who are thinking about it, and I'm like, 100% do it. It's not only great because you're playing so much tennis, you're getting a degree at the same time. And I think that's what some people don't quite understand. I mean, a lot of my friends were like, oh, you're at university and you play tennis. I'm like, oh, well, I do exactly what you guys are doing as well as playing tennis.
Yeah.
Like, I still get a degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's tough. I'll be honest. It's definitely not an easy thing, because you have to juggle all your schoolwork. You have to make sure you're super organized, which was something I had to learn. I'm a little bit I leave things to last minute, and I knew I used to have to look at my week and think, okay, so we're traveling on Thursday. That means I really want to be getting my work done on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's good for just general life skills as well. The easiest thing I'd say is just don't even doubt it. Go off and do it, because at the end of the day, if you don't like it, well, you can come home. It's not like you are stuck there. So, yeah.
I completely agree with you. I'm such an advocate for it. I'm probably like too much the other way. I'm like, you must go. But I think that speaks for itself with people that have done it. I mean, everyone that I've interviewed so far, I think you're my fifth person. Everyone has spoken highly of it. And, some of them are playing tennis still, some of them aren't. But I think still, just as you said, like the life skills that you get from, college tennis, being a student athlete, trying to balance like social life, tennis, school, doing all the mental health, your body, all of these things. I think it takes a lot, and I think anyone who gets through that system, I think is really special. Not to big us up or anything, but I think it is, because it's tough as it is, getting a degree.
For me, I mean, you put in you get out what you put into it. I think for me, I did take my tennis very seriously. I know we spoke about this, that we both took it super seriously. We're actually, for me, my social life was hanging out with my teammates. But there are, of course, you can play tennis at, and for more enjoyable, I say enjoyment, I did enjoy it, but
I know what you mean.
Recreational kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can kind of have a more of a university life to it. And I mean,
exactly.
It's very versatile. It's not just you go there and like you have to play tennis and you have to study. I mean, you have a life outside of it. So,
no, I completely agree. I think if you have that mindset of, okay, I want to play pro tennis after college, you can get out of that what you put in terms of extra individuals, or wanting to play more in the fall season when you have maybe more time to enter competitions. But you can also, if you're like, okay, well, I want to experience college tennis but not necessarily pursue it afterwards, you can still do everything you possibly can for the team, but maybe not put as much time in your free time, so you can go out, meet with friends, whatever. I think also there's just so many different schools for that, and there's when you are choosing that, I mean, both Memphis and ODU were mid-major schools, but they still were very tennis focused. I think there are loads of different other schools that Pippa can guide people to, that maybe might have more of a relaxed outlook on it, even if it's still a tennis school, it might not be completely 110% tennis.
No, exactly.
Which I think is great too. I think that's great too. Well, Alisha, thank you so much for talking with me today. I really appreciate your time.
That's all right. Thank you very much.